Here to keep the chase going, share information, spread unity, preserve our heritage and our culture. We're trying to achieve something that you just can't catch. We're always trying to find a better way, trying to make better dogs. That's what Dixie Doggers Podcast is. That's who we are.
This episode is brought to you by Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company. Marc Rankin specializes in Brahma and Brahma Cross cattle in Oglethorpe County, Georgia. You can contact him at 407-832-2077. 407-832-2077. This episode is also brought to you by Phil Wilson of UC Hunting Properties. If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. You can contact him at 678-791-3483, 678-791-3483, or visit his website down below in the description.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show again. You got Nate and Joey here with you.
Yes, indeed.
Dixie Doggers Podcast. Try not to make a bunch of noise, but I'm making a lot of noise. I don't know what's up with my mic right there. Back at you one more time. This will sadly be the last one we do in this studio.
I think
so. Yeah, this probably be.
Unless we do one next Monday, that might be the only time.
No, we won't be here next Monday. We're going to be gone by then. We're going to be in another building.
Right,
we should be. We're relocating to a new store. It's not new. It's new to us. It's just down the road, like maybe 2 or 3 blocks. So we'll have all that info and stuff up. But anyway, we got a special guest with us tonight. Been talking to this guy for a while. Met him through social media. And let's see, what was it? Last Thursday or Friday was his birthday. So we can't forget that. Did wish him a big happy birthday. This is, and his handle on Instagram is Tagging Outdoors. And he is known as the great Caden Vo. So what's up, Caden?
Nothing much, just trying to catch some hogs and stay out of trouble, really.
That's a hard job.
Yes, sir.
What's the hardest part of it? Staying out of trouble or catching hogs?
Staying out of trouble while you're catching hogs.
Oh, I hear you. So there wouldn't be no fence lines involved in that, would it?
I can't confirm nor deny that, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. So tell all our listeners out there in the hog hunting world where you're from and what kind of dogs you run, how you got into your dogs, and just give us some history on who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Yes, sir. Well, I was born in Southeast Texas, the Beaumont, Fort Natchez area, out there really close to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And I moved up to Texarkana, so I've been out in East Texas for a while, and then my family got an opportunity to move to Dallas-Fort Worth, so we moved out here so me and my brothers could play football and have some better schooling, I guess. And then I moved out past Fort Worth in Boyd. It's about 20 minutes from the Texas Motor Speedway. And I would say, ever since I was little, we were doing stuff with dogs. Like most people say, their grandpas got them into it and everything. But I'd say my nana, which is my grandma, kind of got all me and my little brothers and cousins into it. Any dog she had, she could stick it on a grasshopper. It didn't matter what kind of dog it was. You could take that dog and go get anything with it. So then my dad had protection dogs and my uncle had some game dogs. So I just been around it a while, and we always had some dogs in the yard that would find a pig like every once in a while. But me and my little brother started taking it pretty serious about 5 or 6 years ago. And we run some cur dogs, and we got a bunch of mutts, really.
Mutt enthusiasts ourselves.
Sounds like full-blooded hog dogs to me.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what the classification is on my end. Anyway, I like a full-blooded dog to an extent, but at the same time, seems like whenever they're crossed up or all full-blooded mutt, then they just seem to perform better on hogs.
Yes, sir. It seems like the first cross on the mutt is the best usually.
Oh, that F1, yep.
Yes, sir.
So what kind of breeds do you have in your mutts that you know of?
So right now, my two lead dogs, one is a half mountain cur, half Kimmer cur, but basically they're the same thing from Jimmy Dutson down south, like we talked about that one day.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't get him from Jimmy. I got him from a boy in Oklahoma, and I hunted with him for a little while. I didn't like the way he hunted. He was selling that dog, and I just bought it just because the dog would always go out super far. He could never call it back in. And I told him I'd give you some money for that dog just because that dog's doing the hardest work that most people want their dogs to do is just go yonder.
Yeah.
And everything else was easy after that. And I got this red dog. Some people say he's a Lacey. Some people say he's a red cur. I don't really know what he is, but he's pretty good. He's more short range, but he's pretty good. And then I got my third dog is a half border collie, half Catahoula. I got from I think like Brownwood, May area, and he's doing pretty good. And I got a Dogo that I used to use as my only dog. She's about 5 years old, and she's from World Class Canines out of Georgia.
Yeah.
And then I got some kind of shelter mutt, healer, pit, lab looking dog that he catches. I never heard him bay. And we got some pups running around, some half Lacey, half pits, some pits, just some scatterbred stuff.
Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, it sounds like you got the right combination working. I mean, if you're catching hogs with them, it's definitely working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that how many dogs do you have total on your yard?
I have 9 right now, and then I bred my that Kimmer cur. I bred him to my Dogo just because he got bit by a rattlesnake, and she came into heat that same week. So I was like, fuck it. Oh, so I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on here, but I was like, screw it. I was like, screw it. It just seems like too good of a coincidence. So I bred him, and she's about to give birth probably at the end of this podcast.
That'll be
should be nice.
That'll be kind of interesting, honestly, because I don't know of anybody that's, and I'm sure there's somebody out there that has, but as far as I know, I don't know of anybody that's got a cross like that. And of course, you already know, I'm sure you know about the whole Dogo deal in the hog hunting world.
Oh, yes, I heard it.
Yeah, they catch a lot of flack. And I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I've had a few that have been around. It's like they would never be fed at my house. But I have also been around one or two that were the real deal. And so it's one of those deals where I don't know enough about it to really get too far in depth with it, say, oh, well, this is why, or these bloodlines don't do this or that. I don't know enough about the Dogo, but like I said, I've seen a couple that were sure enough. Eric Rhodes, they call him Chemo. He's got a Dogo that is the fucking truth. I'm talking about this bitch she is bad. So I mean, they're out there. So, and then crossing her with a Kimmer or with a cur cross like that'd be pretty damn interesting, I think.
Yes, sir. So my Dogo is a little different from most because she's from a protection dog kind of lineage. Her dad was that Achilles dog from World Class Canines, and I don't know. I know a lot about protection dogs. I used to have Malinois and stuff like that. Yeah. And I just feel like with her bred like that to never be scared of nothing is a little different from these other Dogos. She never backed away from nothing. Like she stopped my house from getting robbed a couple times, and if there's any threat in between me and her, she gonna handle it for sure.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. How big is she?
Before she was retired, she was about 80, 85, but she got kind of fat, so probably 90, 95.
Okay, I got you. She's a pretty good sized dog.
But she's not like them big, like massive looking Dogos. She's real.
Yeah, athletic.
Everything's real tight. Yes, sir. Like I said, she was like, we used to ride around our deer leash or whatever with her in the trick bed, and if she whined, you cut her loose and she don't catch a hog right there.
Nice. Well, that's what they were originally used for. It wasn't like a walk-in catch dog deal. it was more of a pack dog. Like I said, and I don't know a whole, I'm contradicting what I just said a while ago. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that part of it, that, some of the guys that were hunting them, they would use 2 or 4 or something like that, as a pack, and just have those dogs and nothing else. And I mean, they were successful. They caught a lot of shit, but like I said, I don't know what happened in the whole industry with that part, and how people wound up getting so many dogos that wasn't worth the shit. Is it the actual breed, or is it the people? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that they're expensive to fuck around and find out with.
Yes.
If you get a shit one. But I just lucked out because she's found her own hogs, caught her own hogs. She's done a lot of things, and she's like a catch dog. You don't have to beat her off a pig. She'll get off of it and tell her dead pig. She'll walk to the bay with no leash. She'll cast a little bit. She'll rig. But like I said, we used to just use her and a Catahoula puppy a while back.
Hell yeah. That's pretty damn slick right there. So now, do you, how big of a properties do you guys normally hunt? Y'all hunting a lot of public land, all private land, or, 1,000-acre spots, or 5,000 acres, or what?
So we kind of do both. In Texas, there's a lot of public land, but there's a lot of public land that don't have too many hogs on it. Just gets so much pressure on them. Like anybody with a dog, a chihuahua, or anything is going to try to run some hogs on there. But we luckily know some guys out here that we can hunt their private land, and we got some private land of our own. We do catch a lot of hogs on public land, like the Trinity River or the Red River, but a lot of it's private land that we have access to.
I got you. That's pretty cool there. So, and you, who all hunts you? Just you and your brother still, or?
So me, my brother, my girlfriend tags along when she can, and then my best friend, he's got the litter mate to my border collie Catahoula puppy.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And now, thanks to the sponsors and friends of Dixie Doggers. Animal Housing Solutions.
Boars N Broads.
Crockett Taxidermy.
Hardcore Hog Dogs.
Southern Cross Cut Gear.
Ada Y Transport.
4L Kennels.
The American Doghorn Museum.
Unique Hounding Hunting Supply.
Hogbaying.com.
Tuskers Magazine.
Mud Creek Hog Dog Trials.
Now, how old is that border collie Catahoula pup?
He just turned 9 months.
How's he coming on? Y'all started him, or?
Yes, sir. So he's the last couple hunts. He went over 1.5 miles, 2 miles with my main dog. So he gets gone. And then the other day, I took my puppies on a walk, just like on some public land, not thinking there was going to be a hog or anything. And I have a garment on them just in case, because my puppies are kind of feral. They're like little coyotes. So if you don't have a garment on them, you might not find them. And I hear a bark, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look down, and it says he's bayed. And I have a couple little catch-up puppies with me, and they take off in there, so I take off with them. And it broke before we got there, but he had the hog bayed. I'd probably say by the tracks, maybe 100 pounds, 150 pounds, but I wasn't expecting to get on a hog, and he found his first one the other day on accident.
That's pretty good, though. That's a plus.
Never a bad thing.
Hell no. I mean, that's what you want. And by
he don't really cast though, but he'll go with some sign. He'll go as far as it needs to go, but he ain't gonna cast off those sign.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also, getting up, taking them out, walking them, putting them through the paces like that. That creates opportunities, like you had the other day. They wound up and they're on a pig. You can't get better. You can't get any better than that. That's perfect. So many people And I've been guilty of it myself, have puppies and I'm holding on and waiting until these, I get the perfect scenario or the best time to do it and all that. In all honesty, what you're doing is that's the best thing. Like 90% of the time now, we just let them run loose until they stay gone, and then we got to put them up.
Yes, sir. That's what I do. I just sit there and have a beer or something, and I wait till they get bored of me, and they'll take off. And that's usually what I do. Is if you just stop being their focus, and they go focus on something else, and they usually take off and do their own thing. And even if they trash, I don't give a shit. If they tree a coon or grab an armadillo, then if they're 400 yards away from the truck, I'll be happy with it, because as soon as they get on that hog, they're not going to want nothing else.
Yes, without a doubt. So what are some of the things? Now, how old are you, Caden? I know, like I said, we just had a birthday last week. Happy birthday too as well, but 28?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. No, I'm 24.
24. Okay, so
I'm turning 24 Friday.
Yeah, Nate will be 24 this Friday. And my youngest son, Logan, is 18 today. That's a happy birthday to my little boy too. So,
and then Eric.
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, and my baby sister will be 830 years old tomorrow.
Shoot, I hope she ain't listening to this.
Yeah, she knows what it is. She don't mess around. She's old. I'll whoop her ass. I don't play that shit. I'm a big brother. But no,
that's what an old man told me a long time ago. If you dream about fucking with me, you better wake up and apologize.
Hey, I had one tell me. He said, "Look, I cannot stop you." He said, "But I can break you from the fucking habit."
Golly. Hell yeah.
He said, "I can't stop you from trying, but I can break you from the habit." So, but no, man. But with being, and I mean, you're young. You're young to me. You're going to be young to a lot of people out there in the world. Being 24 years old and doing your own thing, having your own dogs, and kind of, like I said, you're doing your own thing here. What are the challenges that you've had with that? Like dealing with guys that my age that are, 45, 50 years old or older. And then also dealing with guys that are a lot younger than you, some of the 16-year-old guys running around. What kind of bullshit have you had to deal with on either end? Or if you've had to at all, you might not have to, but, has it been a pain in the ass to continue to do this? What about the social media side of it? How do you feel about that?
So as far as being young, the older people that a lot of guys I first started hunting with, like I would go out with a few dudes and they just wouldn't listen just because I was young, and they don't realize that dog knowledge is dog knowledge. No matter if you're running hogs, retrieving birds, or putting people, like catching dogs on a sleeve, it's all, if you break it down, it's all dog knowledge, and it all can be broken down and used in different ways, and they just wouldn't listen. Like I got my main dog Muzzy from that old boy in Oklahoma, and he didn't want him no more because he wouldn't come back. But every time he come back, he beat the shit out of him. And it's like, well, if you beat the shit out of me every time I came over to your house, I wouldn't come to your house no more.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, that don't make no fucking sense. But I would just say stuff like that they wouldn't listen on small stuff or bigger stuff like that just because I was younger. It's just like, this is what I'm seeing, and this is how you're reacting, and that's why the dog's being this way. And I would say that's probably it. And then with the younger people, I haven't had too much flack with them. Like my little brother's young, he's 13, but he has a good head on his shoulders, and he don't mess around. He's out there in the woods. He be telling me to shut the fuck up and listen to the dogs before I even do nothing. So I hope he don't listen to this, but he will have some better dogs than me here soon. I promise you that.
Well, that's good. And honestly, one of the reasons why he'll do that is because of you and going hunting with you and you leading by example. That's one reason why he'll be successful. I mean, there's other reasons as well, but that'll be a very important reason why, so whatever you're doing, man, you just keep doing it.
Yes, sir.
Now on the social media side of it, like I said, that's how, that's how I found out who you were. how we started talking and stuff a while back. And, and like I said, I've been old school for a long time, but I mean, the world has changed from what it was 20 years ago, and everything's done differently now. So, I mean, how do you think this will continue on as far as like being able to communicate with other hog doggers, being able to communicate with other dog men and women out there in the world? Just say if there was no social media at all, how do you do that then in this day and age?
I would say if there's no social media at all, then it would be hard to connect like this and meet new people. But it's also like a double-edged sword. It's good to post about what you do and how you do it, but I've been a problem as well, like posting too much. There is a thing about posting too much. You don't have to show everything, but that's why I kind of dial back some of my stuff of not showing all the dispatching and all my dogs getting cut up. Like, yeah, I want people to see the real deal, but not everybody's cut out for the real deal. And if the wrong person sees it, then they can be a bad rap about you. But honestly, I didn't get into social media until I made this Instagram. Really, I didn't have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, none of that. So I didn't have any of that. So when I first got that, it was kind of new to me too.
I got you. That, like I said, it's definitely a double-edged sword. But seeing like somebody like yourself who's realized that, hey, I don't need to show all that shit. That's a breath of fresh air, because there's so many out there. They're going to show every little thing. I mean, if no matter what, if their dog does good, they show it. Dog does bad, they show it. And like you said, we all understand it's the real deal. And these are the things that really happen. But you can do too much, without a doubt. You can post too much shit. You can show too much stuff that doesn't need to be shown. I mean, if you're not a veterinarian, you don't need to show stapling dogs up or, sewing dogs up on the tailgate. You just don't need to do that. Even though it happens, but some of that stuff, it just gives.
I mean, that's more of an emergency scenario, not a flex.
Yes. But I do also think that it's something that most people need to be versed on, because in an emergency scenario or emergency situation, not everybody has somebody that you can call. There's not a lot of people in the world you can call at any time and say, hey man, I got this going on or this going on. And they can walk you through it or give you some advice or whatever. And I mean, I was lucky enough to learn a lot of these things through the years. So I don't mind sharing. I mean, I don't mind helping people, but like you said, it's just a double-edged sword, man, because I want to be able to tell people like, hey, this is how you would staple a dog. But at the same time, I can't. Or I can't post it. You know what I mean? I can tell you if you call me, but not everybody's going to call.
Yeah, so and it's like, you can't, like I said, I've been a problem with it too. Like I posted my dogs getting cut and stuff, just trying to show like this stuff does happen. It's not always I catch a big hog and nobody gets hurt. But then I sat back and looked at it and I was like, maybe not everybody needs to see that. Mm-hmm. But I was just lucky that I used to be work for Care Flight. I don't know if that's everywhere, but it's in Texas. It's like I was an EMT firefighter, so I've dealt with a lot of stuff that a dog getting cut up. It don't really make me get like chaotic or nothing. I could just go ahead and handle it right there. If you just start stressing out and start doing some dumb shit and moving too fast, and you just got to take a step back and look at it for what it is and handle it accordingly, really.
That's right. And that's what I'm, guys like you, and believe it or not, I know quite a few that are EMTs, firefighters, police officers, or they were vet techs or work in veterinarian offices, or were veterinarians themselves. But there's a whole bunch of them that have zero experience. And man, I have seen them try to work on a dog. And it wasn't to necessarily save the dog's life because of an emergency. They wanted just to save a few bucks. And I was like, dude, you should have never touched this dog. That's more along the lines of the people I'm talking about. It's like, but at the same time, people need to know that these things do happen, and you have to act accordingly. Like you said, you can't act crazy and get all chaotic and freak out, because that just makes it worse.
Yeah, and my dad was in the Marines, so he always told me, when shit hits the fan, what are you gonna do? And it's just like, you gotta work with what you got, and then like when my dogs get cut up, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even staple them half the time, because usually they don't even need staples. They'll heal better if you just spray it. I learned this trick from my old man. You mix some iodine with some Vaseline, put it in the wound. They won't lick it no more, and you let them be, because half the time they're gonna rip out the staples anyway. So unless it really needs to be stapled, just leave it alone.
I agree. That's good. I like the Vaseline and the iodine deal there. That's pretty cool. We got a product that we use. It's called Spurs Big Fix, and it's just a spray. And I'll be honest, man, it's one of those deals where when we started using it, like say if we had something that we needed to put, say 5 or 6 staples in, we don't even do that now. Like we just clean it, spray it, like you said, and it's done. It heals really fast, heals really good. It keeps doesn't dry out or anything like that. So I mean that's a good product. But going into that right there, with you having a history in the EMT stuff, what's your cut kit look like? Your emergency medical box for your dogs and yourself if you carry one.
So I usually have a tourniquet for just like humans and everything, and then I have a staple gun. I always keep like the cotton pads or the cotton balls in there to just stuff into some wounds. But usually that, a staple gun, and some blood stop is all I take out in the woods with me. And then I keep I forget exactly what it's called, but it's electrolytes for horses.
Yeah.
And if your dog ever gets overheated, you just go ahead and put that on their round. It's just like when people use honey, except it's more of a concentrate for the horses, and however much your dog weighs and all that. But a little squirt of that, and I've had dogs have heat strokes, and give them some of that, and they're all right. They'll be all right after that.
Yeah. The electrolyte stuff is it's a lifesaver for sure. And we've used it for a long damn time, many years now. I used to carry B12 a lot. I don't use it as much as I used to, but definitely the electrolytes. It can.
Yeah, my nana always told me to just give them Dr. Pepper, and I didn't have the electrolyte stuff one time, and I gave my dog some Dr. Pepper, and it did the same thing. So
yeah,
you don't have that. Just use some Coke or Dr. Pepper, and it'll be all right.
Yep, give them that little bit of sugar.
Get that blood sugar up.
Ain't no doubt about that. Now, where you live at, do y'all hunt in a lot of like briars and thick stuff, or you said you were, you hunt a lot of private land and stuff. So, I mean, I didn't know if it was well manicured, or if it was pasture land or high fence or all wooded areas. What kind of terrain do you guys hunt?
So pretty much everything. Texas kind of has everything. So I have land in East Texas, North Texas, Northwest Texas where I am, and South Texas, and where I mainly hunt, it's a lot of river bottoms, cow pastures, and mesquite thickets, but also there's a lot of just wooded areas with the briars, and it gets pretty thick. It'll have about 200 yards, 300 yards of open, and then it gets pretty shitty pretty quick.
Yeah. Got you. You run a lot of cut gear and stuff, or go natural?
So I used to run a lot of cut gear, and then I started in the summer. You can't run in Texas. You can't run nothing really. I don't even put a vest on my bulldogs till I get right up to the bay, and I put it on my belt or my backpack, and I put the vest on. But I noticed that if my cur dogs don't have a vest on, they won't get that rough. But as soon as you put a cup collar or a vest on them, they're gonna think they're bulldogs, and they'll catch.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it out, see if my hypothesis is true this winter, and see if keep them as naked as possible if they'll sit back. But usually I try not to run too much on my bay dogs just because I want them to bay. But I like a rougher bay dog that, if the bulldog, I've had it happen where the bulldog gets gutted or something happens and then bay dogs have to catch for you, that mine will. So I always like to have that just in case.
Cool. How many dogs do you turn out at a time?
I usually only turn out 2 or 3 bay dogs at a time. I feel like more than 3 mine are going to catch, or sometimes 3 of them they'll catch. But I usually try to turn out like a younger dog and an older dog. What I've been doing recently is I'll send out my camera cur. He'll make some really big loops and kind of during the day, especially a morning hunt, he'll kind of bump the woods and get everything moving. My red cur is more of a hotter nose dog, and I'll let him go after and he'll clean up the mess really.
That's pretty good. So when you, I was trying to think what else I was going to ask about on the hunting part like that. Oh yeah, like what's the average race? Like the hogs, I'm hearing it from everywhere, how much the hogs run. And you said you like a little bit rougher style of bay dog. So does that, if that dog's getting on his ass pretty quick, is he going to nip him and turn him around? Or is he going to wind up making him stop and take a bay? Or does it push it further? How long does a race usually last?
Not too long. Like Friday, my timber he bait up to a boar hog in a sow right off the edge of a pond and by himself, and we sent that red dog to him to help him out. And they had a bay. He struck. He'll bark when he strikes, and he'll be quiet till he's bayed. And he had it baited like 800 yards from us, and that red dog, they held there. We bumped the bay, but usually no more than an hour. And if you wait long enough, they'll bring them back to you. I don't know if I've ever had that happen, but my 2 main dogs, if you sit there long enough, they'll bring them closer to you.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen with us. Not here. I mean, I've been in places where it's happened, but it doesn't happen here. They don't get to make a loop and bring them back around. Usually they just shoot straight out of the damn country. Go ahead.
Yeah, we usually just let them bay up for a little while, and then they'll bring them. Like the other day, I had a buddy come in from Georgia, and he don't hunt really, and I met him. I used to do some remodeling, and I met him through that business, and he was like, "Man, let's go do some country ass shit." And I was like, "Well, I don't got time to hog hunt tonight, but I said we probably get on some coons or an armadillo or something trashy." He's like, "All right," so we go out there and. I just brought my main dog, he'll shoot a coon, and he looks at a coon in a tree, and looks at us and calls ass the other way. He's like, "Man, I thought you said that dog would tree a coon." I said, "He will, but if there's a hog around, he won't fuck with no coon."
Yeah.
And he got bait up 600 yards. He was bait for 3 hours. Had to call my girlfriend and come bring me a catch dog and everything. He brought it close to us, and then it took too long, and the bay broke. But you wait long enough, they'll bring closer to you.
Oh, that's pretty nice though. I mean, like I said,
that's nice.
Well, I mean, like the other day where we're at, and we've hunted this property here 4 or 5 times, I guess now, and we've been successful every time we've went, but we haven't caught anything of any significant size or no real numbers. We just snagging 1 or 2 here and there. I think we got 5 or 6 the last trip that we'd went before the yesterday, and then like we got on a good hog right off the bat, and he crossed the river on us. Now the same scenario has happened this second time for sure right there, and it's just like almost a straight line for probably 2.5, 3 miles. But now, like I said, since it's happened a couple of times, we know that once they get to this certain area, if that hog breaks, if they can't get him stopped before he gets to the river, best thing for us to do is just go ahead, jump in the truck, go around and get to this certain point and cut him off. That's the way we have to do these. Because they, like I said, they I don't know, it's weird. We can't keep them in a block. Like we don't have a block that they run in. It's the weirdest shit. I think it's because of all these steep hills canyons and hollers we usually hunt. And if it's not that, then it's nothing but rivers everywhere. Just weird.
I would say I got a spot just like that, and I caught the most hogs, but I got the most hogs cut running catch dogs. But that's what I'm about to go back to. So I'm tired of walking half a mile to a bay.
That's what I said yesterday we were there. I said, I've learned two things. I said, I've learned which way they're going, and I've learned that this is not going to be a bunch of bay dogs next trip. I'm just going to, we're going to have to shut them down before they make it to that one point.
Yeah.
But now it is in a position, we are in a position there. I think we can get everywhere pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. And we've been to the property enough where we know it.
Yeah. And there's a good road system. You
don't want to just go hunt running catch dogs blind. You have to know your property.
Yeah.
So let me ask you all, when y'all hunt running catch dogs, do y'all stay together or do y'all split up?
It just depended which pack I brought. I had so many at one time, and I've still got a lot. I've got a dozen at the house now, and all of them need to be out there running. But I had 5 at one time that would stay together, and that worked pretty good unless you hit a sounder. If you hit a sounder or a pretty big group, then all of them would split and they'd all have their own. So that could be great and it could be horrible, depending on how many people were there hunting with us and how many, if we could all split up and go to a pig or to a dog, whatever, and made it work, it turned out great. If not, then chances are
you're going to be real tired.
Yeah, you were going to have a lot of issues with dogs. Depending on how big the hogs were and all that. If you get on, if you got 3 dogs separated and you got a single dog on a pig here that's 200 pounds with 1.5 inch teeth, he's working this dog over and it's 30 minutes for you to get there. Well, that's a bad scenario, of course. So first thing we would do is if at any point in time we had more than one dog on a hog, we'd go to the single dog first. To try to hurry up and get there and get that problem took care of. That was the hardest thing there, is because having that many dogs, they all wanted to be lead dogs. And so that's when I got out of carrying all old dogs or older dogs. And I got to where I would carry 2 seasoned dogs and then all the rest of them were young dogs. So that way they would, try to stick together a little better.
Yeah, so like when I run a catch, I got like I said, that shelter dog. I don't really know what he is. He just looks like a pig, healer, lab mix, and then I had a half Airedale, half Staghound from Textile out in Lubbock, and I would drop my 2 curs with them 2, and they pretty much stay together, and I keep my dogo or another catch dog on the truck, and there was one time they were caught for like an hour and a half until we can get to them, and I sent my dogo from 500, 600, and it just worked out that way. But them Staghounds, they ain't got no stamina. If you don't get to even my half Staghound, he died. Whether it was, I've heard him die from a seizure hitting a tree because they hit a tree head on,
I've heard a bunch of stuff about that too. And I don't know. I guess I've been really blessed with the ones that I've got. I'll
tell you that man that Textile, he got some dogs. That first time I ever took that dog to the woods, he went with my cur dogs, 4-7, and caught a hog. I never seen a hog before, nothing. Just went out there and handled it like he's done it 1,000 times.
Hell yeah. We got a wolfhound cross. Well, he's 3/4 wolfhound and 1/4 deerhound. And he never showed him nothing or anything. I was like, well, I'm just going to introduce him, to riding, take him out, let him run around a little bit, stretch his legs. He went 1.2 miles and had his own pig first time out. I was like, no, second time out. I was like, oh, that's a long ways for a big dog like that, And I mean, he hunts like he's been doing it his whole life. And he's only been just a couple of times now. And I don't have anything bad to say, but I wish all of them would take to it like that. So, like I said, and I've had a couple of stags, and we didn't have any problems with them. Like, we didn't have any problems with stamina. We didn't have any problems with them running into anything. And I mean, they would hunt thick shit wide open, run right through the middle of the woods, river bottoms, and we never had any problems. So, but I've heard a lot of nightmares about them.
Yeah, and he had a nose on him. I guess being half Airedale, I've seen him tree a bobcat, and I hit that bobcat with a rock, and he caught that bobcat before it hit the ground.
Hell
but
yeah.
He had a nose on him. He cast, and shit, you get there, and he would be like, "Why is he on the leg? I thought he was a finished fish dog." I said, "Because there ain't no ears left.
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing else to grab."
Yeah, I mean, if they'd have knocked the ears off, you got to hang on somewhere, huh?
Yes, sir.
There ain't nothing wrong with a dog that's gonna grab and do whatever he's got to do to make it happen.
Oh, for sure.
Which Airedales, I mean, I've had a lot of Airedales over the years, and I like them. I always have. I like a full-blooded Airedale.
They always handled the briars very well.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's like it don't even bother them.
Yeah, they never got skin up or blue pads or nothing.
No, never
So-
had any issues like that.
With the Airedales, is there like, I've always wanted to ask somebody, is there like two lines? Is there a line that bays and a line that is just straight catch?
No. What it is
So that's-
it's just like the Dogo situation. Okay. Here I go with that, delving into this shit I shouldn't even be talking about. The Airedales, at one time, like back during the Depression and stuff, before then, all the way up through the late 40s, I mean, they were the kings. Like they dominated everything. It's just like Dogos. I mean, when Dogos first were introduced and they first got out there, they were phenomenal. The show breeders and people wanting to try to make a few bucks off of them fucking ruined them. You know, I mean, they just absolutely ruined it. Here comes this fucking train. It don't matter what time we do this. Here comes that damn train. We're gonna just keep rolling, and if we need to cut it out, need to cut it out. So it's just guy. We go through this all the time. I'll be so glad when we get this other studio. Cause like I don't know why he's got to hold the fucking horn down. I hope he catches a hope he catches a fucking cramp in his hand and it falls off.
Mine would do that by my house, and we'll get on my dog fan, and I think he just fucking knows.
I don't know what's wrong with this. This is one guy, and like he's done quit. He literally didn't even blow the horn at this crossing. He just blows it all the way until he gets right here. He must know me. Probably does. He's like, look at this asshole. I'm going to do this and back him up. But anyway, with the Airedales and the Dogo stuff, same scenario. The Airedales were just big beast for years. And then it got to where they were softer dogs. And then they just kept getting worse and worse. It's very hard to find real good working Airedales. I mean, they're still there, and there's some people that have revived them and brought them back. But as far as any Airedales that we've had, they don't bark at fucking nothing. Period. I mean, they're hammers. But I have heard and seen people talk about their dogs and how good Airedales and how good they bayed, and I was like, I don't know. Ours didn't do that.
Yeah.
But of course, very
So they weren't bred to bay.
Sir?
So they weren't bred to bay. They were bred to just run the catch.
They were just bred to dismantle shit, you know?
Yeah. Airedale's pretty
Yes, sir.
rough on most things.
Yeah. I mean, that you go back into like where they originally, I mean, a lot of them was to handle, because the bulldogs were dominating all the bull baiting and the pit fighting and all that stuff. They had to have something else that would help a little bit that could take that. And that's where that came into play with them as well. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about that side of it, but that's the true history of it is, I mean, they would put them in there and pit them against a pit bull. And like everyone that we've had, it's a whole nother animal. Their teeth a wolf is the only canine that has teeth bigger than an Airedale. They're canines, like a full 1.25 inches long. And when they bite, they're supposed to bite. And like I said, I think it's more along the lines of, that's why the same thing goes with the dogo stuff. Like, you've got a dogo that's the real deal, that does what a dogo's supposed to do. And then there's 100 other people that's right beside you. All their dogos are fucking won't even go into a catch, or they're over there baying. You know, that's not what they're supposed to do. So
I seen a dogo fucking hump a pig, and I said, I guess he caught it, dude.
Yeah.
But I was like, golly, I'd have shot that dog.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. But I will say this. I've been into the terriers for a long time, with like the little jags and stuff. And that's one thing that's kind of warped my mind, I guess, about having dogs that have such hardness and that are very game. When I seen one bay a half-grown coon one time, I literally about died. I was like, what in the fuck is going on? And they're like, oh, it's just because it's a puppy. I was like, no, it's 7-8 months old. This son of a bitch, I mean, and true enough, now not everybody's going to do that, but ours, if you give them the opportunity, they're going to grab a hold of it. And when they get bit back, that's when they really turn on. They're not going to quit. That's when they're going to fucking fire up. So when you see these dogs that were bred for this purpose for so many decades, then they get diminished down to nothing, to fucking house pets that aren't even, I mean, that barely can kill a rat, you know? It sucks. It's people. That's the problem. People.
So I got an old boy out here that he got some game dogs that they'll catch a pig, but it's not because they rather catch a pig. It's just because that's the only thing they can get the rocks off on. If you know what I mean.
That's the only work he's got for him. Yep.
If you send him in there wrong, he ain't gonna catch that pig. He's gonna catch something. He's gonna catch a dog.
Yeah, you're gonna catch whatever he can get a hold of. And then
it's
that's
the first thing he gets in there and sees. He's gonna catch that motherfucker right there. But if he catches that hog, it's wraps right there.
Yeah, I've been in that situation quite a bit, and I mean, like I said, it's a lot of these dogs get a bad rap from people because of people. You know, that you get. We were talking to a guy that has some really good running catch dogs, and he was talking about seeing or not seeing any excuse me, not seeing any pit bulls that would solo handle a 300-pound boar hog. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He said, I haven't seen any that could just really do it. I mean, of course, you know, I'm not going to argue about it by no means, but I know you've seen them. I've seen them.
Shit, I can call old boy right now. If there's something made up, we bring a bull over there, and you don't have to. The dogs don't have to catch with them.
That's what I'm saying. That's because of an observation that one person has dealing with the dogs that they dealt with. They're making a claim on the whole breed, you know, and they shouldn't really do that, because that's just from what you know right there with what you're doing. It's like that. I don't know, man. I run into it all the time. We see it all the time. One of the biggest deals is like, if a dog don't cast but 400 or 500 yards, I don't need that dog, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, dude, that's where you hunt at. It's totally different. Like where I hunt at, I need a dog that's, you know, 700-800 yard dog. I can get by with that. I like a dog that'll go further if it needs to, but at the same time, all I got to do is get in the vehicle and drive around and put the dog in another position, let it go again too. Everybody's different, you know, so making all these damn claims and stuff like that, all that does is just create more damn chaos and turmoil. And nobody's really being able to keep up with what a breed is supposed to do and what it was bred to do. The only one you ever hear about is the pit bull, a game dog. That's the only one you ever hear about. They're like, oh, well, it was bred to do this. Okay, well, what was the Catahoula bred to do? Or what was the Kimmerker bred to do? What was a dogo? What was an Airedale? Keep all that in mind, what they're really supposed to be bred to do, and how much we're construing the fact. Are we helping or are we hurting?
Yes, sir. And if you got a cast dog around where I live and he goes 500 and he's gonna find a hog, you need a new dog.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Got a guy named Raymond out there in South Carolina. We were talking about that going 800 yards to a bay. He said, for what? He said, 800 yards? I said, yeah. He said, man. He said, if I go 800 yards and I ain't caught 3 hogs, he said, I'm not going no more. He said, I ain't going to have none of them dogs. I was like, there that many hogs? He said, oh yeah. He's like, when you turn one loose, he said, you'll have a hog caught before you can get the collar on the next dog. I was like, good God Almighty. He's like, yeah. He said, so you don't need all that shit. Now, they're not like that where we at, but there's places where they're like that.
Yeah, I let my main dogs out. I let the one that's a little ranger, I let him out, and then I'll roll behind him. If that red dog don't go with him, I'll roll behind him. And what I've seen on the trucker is that he's going to outflank the hogs, and he's going to push them back towards us, and then catch everything else that comes in between. But he has this thing about him where he only don't get on the biggest hog. Like during the shakeathon when I called you and I said we don't have a video of that big, like we have videos of the pigs we caught while he was on that big sows, because he got to the smaller hogs, and as soon as another dog got there, he's gone. He's gonna get to that. He's gonna go find the rest of them or the biggest one or however it works. But
yeah, we had a blackmouth similar to that. He didn't really mess with any small pigs. He'd only go after a big one. If it was less than 100 pounds or something, he was probably just killing it and moving on. But if it was a big pig, he'd stick with that thing as far as it ran. 3 miles, 4 or 5 miles, he'd go.
Man, let me ask you this: what is y'all's opinion on a bay dogs catching with the catch dogs? My opinion is I like the bay dog to catch dogs. It makes me feel better, and it's a lot easier to. As soon as I get it caught and I tell them to get off, they go on their way. But until then, they're going to be on there.
I don't really care either way if a bay dog catches with a catch dog. If it helps, that's fine. If it goes ahead and relays, that's fine.
Oh, that's bullshit. Every bit of it.
What?
I don't know. I was just disagreeing with you because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Nobody can ever agree. See how easy that was? Nobody can ever fucking agree on nothing, but that's what we do agree on, though. Having a dog that will, I don't mind one catching. But now when I say get off of it, you need to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Nathan likes mean dogs.
People beating shit out their dog because they don't get off. Like, motherfucker, he didn't start that shit at home.
Exactly. You had all that time to practice.
I play tug with my little catch dogs and on a third pole, and I just keep saying dead pig, and I teach them how to drop it, but instead of dropping, it's just dead pig. So in the woods, they're like, you already know what dead pig means. You literally go with it.
So when you're doing that, I'm going to ask you and Nathan both something on this one. Okay, I want both of y'all to give us your what you would do, or how you would do it. Is what you were just talking about, training a catch dog, a young catch dog that you want to let go on command. Now, maybe not, I don't know. I had to kind of rephrase that because a lot of them you had to run a brake stick on. But one that'll leave the hog alone. You know what I mean? Like once you got the hog caught, and when you're going in there, you don't want it barking and jumping and screaming and acting like a fool. Would y'all use the collar, use electricity more to train that dog to be calm before you catch the hog and then after you catch the hog? Or what other method would you use? Which do you prefer? How would you do it?
I usually prefer my hand. Like I ain't gonna beat a dog, but I'll slap him a little bit. But like it depends on how hard. Like if the dog can handle it, because like some of my cur dogs, they can handle. Like I got one, he can't handle a shock, a tone, or nothing. You got to just use your voice. But my catch dogs, they could usually handle a shock, but it usually depends on the dog. If it can handle, I kind of revert back to my protection dog days. I only use what's necessary. So if a pinch collar is all that it needs, and a pinch collar is all that it needs. But I usually started at home with a choke collar or just a little tape and make a little noose, and I pop them a couple times. And if you started them and you do it that way, then everything at home can be used in the woods. You don't use training that you use in the woods without starting at home first. You can't expect a dog to know what it don't know.
Yeah. I'd say probably for me, if didn't start them at home, because like us, we can't work any pigs in a pen at the house. So like we would do like a trap or out in the woods in a scenario. So like you said, definitely would try and start them on a flirt pole and just work on getting them calmed down, work on getting them hot and ready to work, and then just work on that progression of, okay, it's no longer time to work. It's time to just calm down. And that transfers over pretty good. A lot of times, like sensitive areas of a dog is like on his nose or something. So like on young puppies, I'm gonna like stick my fingers in their nose and like wiggle it. And just so they might like start like regripping or something. And then you can like tap them on the mouth and, just talk to them calm and show them. Mm-hmm. Now this works like after like the pig's dying or like it's already killed or something like that. Because if it's still alive and screaming and squealing, like you're probably not going to calm the dog down.
No,
not a hot dog especially. But now some dogs you're just not going.
Now there's going to be people that's going to blow up on that because they're going to be like, well, yeah, you try to touch my dog like that and he's going to bite you. Well, let me tell you what happened here with that.
Yeah, but now I'm not blowing in the dog's ear.
Well, I'm just talking about in general. I know motherfuckers got dogs you can't touch them.
Oh yeah,
or in the past.
Yeah, I'm talking about my personal bulldogs we're raising.
And all right, so when you go on a hunt with somebody, Caden, all right, say if I called you and said, hey man, let's go hunt down here in Orange, Texas. We're gonna drop by Jake Locano's and we're all gonna get together, me, you, and him, and Chris Ray and Uncle Pat, and we're gonna go hunting. Bring your dogs. Okay, are you going to bring a catch dog?
Oh, I'm asking what you want me to bring. If he said bring whatever, I'm going to bring my main three. And
yeah,
I can get my dogs off the hog without no force. And
yeah,
and I'll tie them up and release them to a tree and help you get your dogs off. But if a dog growls at me, I'm going to leave it the fuck alone.
I'm just talking about like in general, not even because of that scenario. I'm just talking about in general. Would you bring your catch dog? I would definitely bring mine. Even if I asked and said, hey, do I need to bring any catch dogs? And they're like, well, we got catch dogs. I'm like, well, we don't even have to turn it loose. We can leave it at the camp.
Because part of being a catch dog is just riding around.
All right. But I want to take mine with me because if something happens, like we were talking about earlier, and we got three bays going, well, I can grab my personal dog and go by myself. Or me and one guy, and I can go catch a hog. I know for a fact my dog's gonna work. But now there have been times, like when we went down to Logan Campbell's, I didn't need one. I know what Logan Campbell was swinging there. I was like, he's got catch dogs that are legit. And let me tell you something.
It's some big ones.
They're off lead. I mean, don't matter. You can be in the middle of a pasture, pigs running around, cows, horses, whatever. He'll say close. And they're going to stay within 10 yards, 10 feet, like they mind. And that's what I really look for in those situations, because I'm like, who am I going to hunt with? Because if I don't know you and I've never hunted with you, I want to bring my stuff with me as well in case something happens, But at the same time, if you don't know me and I bring my catch dogs with me, you're going to be thinking, well, shit, I don't know will his dog even catch? Is it going to miss?
Yeah.
Is it going to regrip or whatever? So I don't know. I'm just one of them. I'm going to bring them from now on every time.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago, just go ahead and bring it. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Mm-hmm.
Because my main catch dog, because my dog was retired, I say retired, but every big hog I've ever posted, she caught that son bitch, and she caught it not working out, just living in the house like a fat potato, and she'll catch it, and it don't matter if she can hear them. If she can hear them, she gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And but my little black dog, my little brother's dog, he not catching a shitty spot, he might catch an armpit or whatever, but he's been getting his guts been hanging out, and he still holds on. And I'll catch behind a dog that will hold on even if it grabs an armpit versus a dog that I don't know that might grab the ear.
Yeah. My brother-in-law's got one, and it's one of our crossed up old shitty dogs. He's got a little bit of Airedale in him, a little bit of Bull Terrier, a little bit of Bird Dog, all kind of junk mixed up. But I promise you this, if it's less than 100, 150 or less for sure, and you can't get there within just a couple minutes, because these are run and catch dogs that we're using, you know. If you cannot get to that son of a bitch within just 2 or 3 minutes, he won't have any ears. Like that dog, and he's not shaking. He does not shake at all. He will literally just bite, and it's like, I don't know, he just builds pressure. That son of a bitch has got a mouth on him. And so there's been a few times where he's been caught, like you said, on the damn armpit or on the ass or whatever. He caught one. I was trying to think of which hog it was. It was a pretty good hog. And I got close to it, and the hog just walked off. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And old Hank was just kind of standing there shaking his head. I was like, oh God, he's hurt. No, he was choking on the ear. The whole ear had come off. Shit. Yeah, the ear had come off, and he had the ear in his mouth, and he's trying to open his mouth, and the damn ear's going down his throat. And it's like the pig was leaving. But now keep in mind, Hank was steadily trying to go to the pig, but he couldn't even get his fucking mouth open. I was like, oh my God. Oh, Hank, he's caught us quite a few hogs over the years, but that's the kind of dogs I like. I like one that's going to grab a hold and is just going to hang on.
Oh, yeah, like my little brother's dog, he stays in my house. My little brother lives in an apartment with my mom, but that dog has caught many hogs and many big hogs, and maybe not to other people's standards, but they ain't fucking feeding them. So.
Listen, fuck them. That's right. I mean that in the best Christian way. Fuck them.
Me too, because I heard them say, they say, well, I couldn't keep that dog. I wouldn't feed him. I said, well, you know, the good thing is you aren't fucking feeding him. So
that's right.
I would send this dog into an elephant. I don't give a shit. He catch it.
What's your little brother's name?
Cameron.
Cameron? All right.
So yes, sir. And he's a bad little dude.
I got to write it down because, and here's why, because I'm going to write this down. I write all kinds of shit down right here in my little book. And the reason I am, because now I know who's really catching these fucking hogs. And you're posting pictures of it with his fucking dog. Cameron, if you're listening to this, brother, give me a call sometime. Give me a call sometime. Me and you go hunting. We'll leave Caden's ass at home.
Yes, sir. He can send his bulldog from my front yard to his kennel, and I live on an acre. And that dog go into his kennel in his fucking house with the door open. Dogs in the backyard.
I knew your brother was young, but I thought he was like 15 or 16. I didn't know he was 13, man.
No, he's just big.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a hoss too now.
Yeah.
So he's a good hand.
He's better hand than most grown men. Not that he's stronger, he just ain't scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that right there means hesitation can really hurt a lot of stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place where, like you said earlier, sometimes you got to step back and just take a breath. But in the heat of the moment, when you walk in there and you've got, say you got a catch dog hung on, and you've got, 2 or 3 cur dogs or hounds or whatever, your bay dogs are caught with him, and this old hog's up there with some ivory hanging out, working him over. You can't fucking step back and take a breath and say, well, I wonder how we're going to do this. You got to get your ass in there and get busy. And so having somebody who doesn't hesitate at all right there, that's a good thing. But now, and when I say that, I mean after they've been introduced to it. Because there's some people who've never done it. We had a guy go with us, and and his name's Kyler. Hey, solid, one of the best hands that we've ever had, period. The very first time we went in, he thought he was supposed to wait on me, to tell him to do this. And I told him, I was like, no, just grab it, He was trying to be respectful and wait on me to give the go ahead. And so after the fact, I think Nate had talked with him and told him, was like, look, just, hey, you ain't got to wait on nobody. Just go ahead and do it. And so, like I said, it wasn't a fact that he was hesitating because he was scared or didn't know this or not. He didn't know that that's how it went. So having some of these guys, like you said, even though Cameron's 13 years old, he knows the routine. He knows what's supposed to go and what's supposed to happen. So he should be a top hand. You know, that's what he's supposed to be doing. So by the time he gets your age, he's going to be running his own deal. Hopefully.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm going to be listening to him, probably.
Well, I mean, that's what we want.
Yes, sir. He just got this way with him. I don't know. It's just some things you can explain and some things you can. And he got the way with the catch dogs. I can't explain it. He can make that motherfucker here with no collar on, barely met the dog, and he'll get it to catch a pig. I've had dogs that I was going to call, and he says, no, brother, give me a week with it.
Oh, I'm liking this kid. That's me right there, ain't it, Nate? Take a dog that just, and I don't know, I don't have no kind of magical shit or none of that. Sometimes I can just get a dog to do stuff that somebody else can't. And now I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of shit that I can't get a dog to do, you know, or it's aggravating for me. Like getting a dog to really go cast and do all that with the patience factor and this and that. That I don't do that very well at all. Rodney, I've literally stepped aside and asked Rodney, like, hey, take this pup and get that sumbitch to go. And Rodney will take that dude and walk right down there. And for some reason, I think it's because he might smell funny, but they'll get right behind him for just a minute and then they'll go in front of him. And by God, now they might come back in a minute, but they're going to go. Me, they're too busy wondering what I'm doing for some reason. But with the catch dogs, I got some kind of little mojo going there that they seem to listen to me better. So me and Cameron, we're gonna have to talk about some catch dog stuff.
Oh yeah, like I said, this dog is a gargoyle looking shit, and he will catch. Not my brother, well, my brother too, but
I was going to say, just good God Almighty, he's a damn gargoyle now.
No, but his dog is the only other dog I sent it to catch is that dodo, and that's because that dog got a lot of. It's like a Ray Lewis tackle whenever that dog hits, you can hear it. But
hell yeah,
my best buddy, he's got that litter mate to my Caterpillar Border Collie, and I call him from time to time, and I'm like, man, why are you up in the pup? And he said, oh, I'm trying to get this dog's page out of. If I'm up in the alleyway trying to get him on the cat. I'm like, God damn it, Jason.
Yeah. Now this Caterpillar Border Collie, how is it, a male or female?
It's a male.
Do you have a female?
No, sir.
Or have
I got a male
to one?
No, sir. I got a male. My buddy's got a male.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm interested in that, but a female.
Man, they smart. Like mine and my buddy's hunt the same, but mine's real chill. He don't do shit at the house. He's chill. He sleeps on the porch. My girlfriend's dog.
We got a dog named Pepper. He's like that. He's just chill, lays around. He won't even hardly eat. He just like lays around. But now you turn him loose, he go to work. He does his thing. He's a little bit longer haired. I mean, in some of the videos or pictures you'll see us post, he looks more almost like a bull Arab kind of style dog. He's kind of long. He got a little bit of a rough coat, black with, I know he's white with black spots, kind of like a bird dog looking deal. But I have really thought about the crossing over a border collie or a standard collie or something, or some kind of cross like that. I've really, really been thinking about that. That's why I was asking. Huh?
I heard the Kelpies have a more natural cast than a border collie.
Negative.
They don't? That's just what I've heard.
I'm just saying in my experience, and see, now I just did what I was bitching about a while ago, and I caught myself because I'm making an assessment on one dog. Well, actually 2 or 3 dogs, but as a whole, I cannot say, but as the dogs that I've been around, and now I'm not saying that they won't hunt, but they definitely, we just carried one back to Nathan Brooks, a Kelpie. Super, I mean, badass little dog now for real, but there wasn't no cast to him. And everybody's cast is different, but there was no distance on his cast for us. You know, now if he was in good sign, he'll go get busy. Now road hunting, rig hunting, shit. He was now if you were gonna walk hunt a property or ride a 4-wheeler or buggy or something,
He's good.
He was good, top notch kind of dog.
So I heard that last podcast with Nathan Brooks, and I heard that her dogs and stuff, they don't even, or he kind of led to an assumption that her dogs don't really rig, and mine will rig, and I've seen them. And now it's hard to tell when they rig and they get bait up of how far exactly they rig from, but I've had mine rig from pretty far.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like you're right on that assessment there, and here's what I guess that's one reason why we do this podcast. Okay, is a lot of it is some clarification. Like you just said, you know, Nathan says this, and you see this. Well, it's where you're at. Like in Texas, Oklahoma, them cur dogs are them yellow dogs and Catahoulas and stuff, they're the thing. The cur dogs are what's happening. On the East Coast, a lot of those were a different style dog. You know, there's a lot of hound brought in, and a lot of bird bulls and stuff. For, you know, like I said, for rigging dogs, most of those guys are going to have a hound on top. They're like, well, curs just don't have the same thing. Well, here's another reason why. What you just said a while ago, he's like, if you go 500 yards and don't get on a hog, well, then you need to move. Out there, 500 yards, that ain't nothing. You'll have to go a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, or a mile before you hit anything. So, you know what I'm saying? It's that distance, and it's the density of the population of the hogs in the area that you live. When we first, so when we first started this stuff, everybody that I talked to in Georgia, North Carolina, they had never seen a yellow dog that was worth the shit. I mean, everybody, they were like, blackmouth curs, like, you never seen anybody with one. And when I talked to everybody out in Texas and North Carolina and Oklahoma, everybody out there was like, Catahoulas wasn't worth the shit. You know what I mean? So it was like just totally different. But now I know for a fact
that everyone hates them.
Yeah, and over here in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Catahoulas are king, and they are badass.
I like all the cur dogs.
Well, I'm saying some of them Catahoulas we've seen out there, they really go with it, but we've never had one worth the shit until we got him. He's from Texas.
Mm-hmm. We got a couple.
I got coming up. One of my best dogs is a Catahoula I got from Craigslist, and the only way you can get her back is if you shake a bag of chips. No matter how many times you beat her or shock her, I swear to God, I keep a bag of chips in my truck, and I'd shake that bag of chips, and you just see that tractor turn around and start coming back to you. She died at 8 months old, but she never seen a hog in a pen, but the first hog she seen, she found it. And those are one of those dogs that you can't really remake because of how you got them. I just got her off Craigslist for $100, and I got dog food with her and stuff, and I took her out to my deer lease with my dogo, and she bayed one up, and I sent my dogo to her, and they caught that hog, and she caught a lot of hogs when she passed, and she was pretty young.
That's nice. Yeah, and somebody else, who was it? Oh, Scott Lanier. Scott was talking about, he got a Craigslist dog, and that's what he was like. He said, dude, this dog is better than some of the dogs that I've got from, you know, proven stock that, you know, that's been proven out over the years. He said, it's really weird. But, you know, like you said, you can't recreate that because you really don't even know what you have.
Yeah, because the people I got it from, they just found her at their deer lease. So it was like they found the dog, and they were just trying to make sure somebody had enough money to take care of it. And I got her, and she was she hit the ground running. She found every one of my buddy's first hogs when she was 7 months old. Because she was with the 2 bulldogs, so she didn't have no help finding them.
Hell yeah. Now, when you said now she died at 8 months old, right?
Yes, sir.
Dang, man, that'd been nice to see what she would have.
Over a dog fight in my yard when I had a buddy watch my dogs when I was out of town. But I told him, I said, don't let them out all at the same time. You're not me. They ain't gonna listen to you like me. And he thought he was me. And that's why I don't. Unless my little brother can watch my dogs, I don't go out of town for about a day.
Yeah.
Maybe a day and a half.
It's tough, man. I mean, like we've got a big yard. Nate takes care of it. I mean, he runs the deal. But like when we're gone, it's tough. It took forever to actually find 1 or 2 people that we could really depend on and to get it done and trust enough to do it, and Parker, if we need something done, Parker, he's been around long enough. He's like family, but I promise you, he's the most trustworthy individual that I know. Like, I mean, he's legit. Like he's one of them that'd be like, no, I'll go to jail for you. He's one of them kind of guys. And he listens to anything that, that you tell him. He follows instructions and he pays attention. And that dude, that is hard to find. That is hard to find. Like you said, your friend thought, well, I'll just do it my way. And turns out to be a fuck up on that,
Yeah, my only got probably, not that my hog dogs are mean, but like I told an old boy at a gas station, will they bite me? I said, I don't know. They don't bite me. Like I don't know. And,
yeah,
they're not around a whole lot of people. They ain't going to bite me, but I don't know if you put your hand in here, what they going to do. But my little brother and a couple other buddies fight because my dogo runs loose. And they can get in here. And if you can get in here without a problem with her, you should be all right.
Yeah. So now you hunted in our Shankathon hunt in May?
Yes, sir.
Was it the May hunt? Okay, I thought so. Do you do a lot of competition hunts?
That was my first one.
First one? And it being virtual, what did you think about it? I mean, was it all right?
Yes, sir. I thought it was all right. I didn't have any problem with it. Only problem I had with it is that the month before I caught the biggest hog I've ever caught and killed it like a dumbass.
You was telling me that. I was like, and I mean, I wasn't even going to get into that, but, and I'm not doing it for, well, I guess I am. I'm doing it for certain reasons. The reason I'm asking you this is like, if some of the people that I don't get to talk to all the time, is like, is there something that you seen, and I had a few guys that were like, well, man, if I need to call you and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, what do I do? I was like, well, you fucking call. And they're like, well, and I'll answer the phone. Yeah, honestly, that's probably the best time.
I'm a witness to that because I called you at, I don't even know what time it's today. I don't know if I can get this video in within a while because my dog slid open.
Yep. Yeah, your dog got hurt. I think you called me at like 2:30 that morning. I think you texted me first or messaged me, and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm up, Yeah,
because he got split open. We had to take care of that, and then we were weighing the hog, and the only tree we picked was rotten, and it fell on us, and we were weighing the hogs. I was like, man, fuck this.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Well, I mean, like I said, we're gonna keep, we're gonna keep on having them. We'll have another one.
Be next May.
Yeah, next May, but before that, we'll have Tulsa Standard Hunt be coming up. B&B puts that on, and we teamed up with them last year to use the big bore score and stuff, and man, it was a good turnout, good time. That was a fun one there.
That was this year.
I think that big bore score makes everything pretty fair because a lot of hog, like if you can balance the teeth and the weight, it makes it pretty much fair for everybody. So,
oh yeah,
I really agree.
If I didn't go the week before the September one, I would have went to that one because I got to only catch all the head cut up. So on a pretty decent sized boar hog.
I got you. So give us tell us a couple good hunting stories. Like you were just talking about that one. I mean, that don't necessarily mean it's a good hunting story, but because, something happened to your dogs, but you got any couple good hunting stories or something that's kind of out in left field that happened to you, something weird? That's not, not like sexual weird kind of shit, but, like hunting shit.
Oh, man, let me rethink that. The first one that came to mind was that.
I already knew. That's why I had to rephrase it.
I'd probably say that that last big one I called my little brother is probably pretty special just because we call them the original three. They're the first three we got, like the first pack of dogs we had that we got together, and they baited up, and we set that little gargoyle catch dog in there, and first we walked in there, they had two big boars made up, and usually if our dogs are barking, it's pretty decent size, and one ran me into a tree. I ain't too much of a man to say it. I'll get in the tree. I don't give a shit. And my little brother was holding his catch dog by the collar, and I told him, I said, Cameron, if that hawk comes at you, let go of that little black dog. And I said, we're going to catch two hogs. Well, it chased me into a tree, and it ran off, and then we sent his. His got thrown in the air, and we finally caught the hog they were baying, and it was getting thrown around, and I mean, it was just a good memory because it was our original three we got together, and we did it just me and him.
Yeah, that's always something good there when you can do it when it's
that's
especially
nice.
If it's just your own dogs. And it don't matter how old you are or how long you've been doing it, being able to go to the woods or wherever and produce with stuff that's yours, with the dogs that's yours, it just ain't no better feeling.
No, and it takes a lot to trust three dogs on I would graciously say a 230-pound maybe ish pig, but if you've been hog hunting enough, them 200 to 230s, those are dog killers right there with them 3-inch teeth. Yeah. That takes a lot to trust the dog with your little brother. It's like my son, to grab a hold and make sure it's all right.
Oh yeah, and I think, with saying that right there, I think there's a lot of guys that when they first start, if they haven't been, raised in it or anything like that, and they just jump into it, they don't realize how important that trust is in those situations. Because a lot of them, they run, a whole fucking mob of dogs. They got 15 dogs, on one 60-pound pig or a 100-pounder or a 200-pounder, and they think they really done something. Yeah, well, the dogs did. But if you go in there and you got a 220, and like you said, he's got 2.5, 3-inch teeth, he's athletic, he can still move anywhere from 175 to 225, and you only have 2 bay dogs or 1 bay dog and then 1 catch dog, I mean, you got to have a lot of trust. And you need to know that dog's there, and that dog's got to trust you as well. I feel like that.
Yeah, that's where that hand, like when I had to hand feed them dogs, so they were so skittish from their past owner or anything. That's when that shit comes into play because they know that. Because a better hunting story, if I can add on to that one, was by a girlfriend. She wasn't raised country or however you want to say it, so she didn't hunt or nothing. And her first hunting experience was with dogs, and her second time hunting, she went out there, and I said, "Oh, we only need 3 dogs. We ain't gonna get nothing big." That's the fucking last thing I should have said. And I got on a 250-pound boar. I never posted it or nothing, and my co-dog brought it closer, and my red dog and my kiss dog ran out there, and I was like, man, that red dog's barking, but it says that kiss dog's treed. We ran up there, and he got gutted, and he was holding on to the armpit, but he was just laying down holding on, getting drugged, and that red dog was cut up pretty bad trying to catch, and I see that little camera crew coming out of nowhere, and I'm like, Mosey, get that motherfucker. And he hits that hole like a catch dog, and I grab it by its legs, and I dispatch it. But, a lot of people couldn't catch their dogs behind a cut-up catch dog and just a couple cur dogs.
That's right.
Or at least have enough trust,
That's like I said, that I think, and it's not that nobody, it's just that people don't say it. You know what I mean? It's not expressed. You don't have guys sitting around all mushy and be like, oh, man, blah, 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 and all this. It's like you think about it, it's an afterthought to me a lot of times because you're in there. I'm not sitting there thinking, do I trust this dog enough to turn it loose? Fuck no, I'm not ever thinking that. I know I trust this motherfucker. This is a machine. You know, this is what all those days and nights and weekends or whatever that all the time that we put into it, that's what this is about. It's about turning this sumbitch loose, whether it's a strike dog or whether it's a catch dog. Doesn't matter. You know, I'm not going to travel across the country and take a dog on a hunt that I don't know if it'll cast or that if it'll even bay a hog. You know, now I might have a pack of dogs there and have one young dog that's being introduced, but I've got to have that. I've got to know what I have there. You got to have that trust. And like you said, that can be from as simple as hand feeding this dog. Well, I say simple. It's not a simple thing. We got a dog at the house right now. I can't even catch. It'll come up. It'll nose your hand. You can touch her nose and she'll walk right beside you. The son of a bitch hunts. She casts. She does everything. She's young, but she won't let you put your hands on her. So I got to build up some more trust with her. Or Nate does. Somebody does. But like you said, from doing that, once we get that trust built and established, then it's on. Now it's time to go to work.
Yeah, like all my main dogs, they were somebody's coal. Like nobody wanted them, and for whatever reason, they didn't want them. And I was at a time in life where I was going through some shit, and I had enough time to deal with their bullshit until they got out of it, and that's what happened. And if you just listen to the dog, if you know it's already gonna do what you want it to do generically, like that chemical I had, I know he's gonna go yonder. But you couldn't catch him until he's on a hog. Well, that's easy fix. If you want to eat, you're going to come to me and to my hand, you're going to eat. And if you don't, if eventually he's going to get hungry enough, so he's going to come to you and he's going to realize that, well, if I eat out of this guy's hand and he pets me, it ain't such a bad thing. It ain't like this other guy that used to have me that beat the shit out of me. And, you know, you just got to, sometimes my dad always told me, kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
If you just do that, you're going to be all right. You know, the dogs don't speak English, you don't speak dog. So the more you can read the body language and just be patient. And I had to learn how to be patient, but you just have to learn with them at the same time, and then you should be good.
Yeah, it's being able to read the body language and to know some of the basic psychology of a dog is a huge help. And like with you being able to have your dad there, because of his background and a lot of that stuff, that's a big help too. There's some folks out there, man. I kind of feel I ain't gonna say I feel bad for them because that's not what it is. But it's like, man, I know it's got to be frustrating because they've never had that. They've never had anybody to help them. So, but now in this day and time, you've got podcasts, you've got Google, you've got books, whatever. You can learn enough to be able to put that into effect, but having somebody there, like having your dad in the background of protection work and stuff, that's got to be a pretty good help too.
Yeah, because you can learn a lot from other dog avenues, I guess. Like for protection dogs, it's all about courage. You know, you never end a session on a bad note. So if your dog cowers down or whatever on a civil scenario or anything like that, you do the most easiest basic scenario you have that the dog's already been through, and you end it on a high note. You never end it on a bad note. If you end on a bad note, the dog's gonna sit in that kennel and think about all the last thing that happened, whether it's good or bad. And if it's bad, then you're kind of fucked until you get it on something good.
No, that's great. That's honestly that's probably where we're going to in this podcast on that note right there as well, because it's something positive. But just for clarification, so if I got this young dog and it don't want to cast, and I send him 2 or 3 times and he comes back, so you're telling me don't kick the hell out of it and throw it in the dog box? No,
sir.
Don't do that.
As soon as it goes the distance you want it to, and it comes back, act like it's the coolest shit you've ever seen. Get so excited, and that's it.
Now, what if it don't go at all? Now tell me that right there. And I mean, I know what I do, but I'm just saying, in all reality, if you got one that's just not doing it, he's like, fuck, man, he's not ready, basically, is what I'm saying. The dog just ain't ready. What do you do in that scenario to end on a positive note? I think that would be one of the most helpful, informative things that we could have ever put out right now on this.
I would say he ain't doing nothing. And if there is one thing that you ever want him to do, whether it's loading the truck by himself, whether it's come to you when you call him or anything, any positive note is a positive note. And then kennel him, put him in the kennel on the chain, whatever you do at your house, and leave him alone until you think he's ready. And if he ain't ready again, everyone has a different process of waiting, but as soon as you see a little bit of potential and he does exactly, at least the right step, he makes the right step and whatever that may be for you, and put him in the truck and go on your way, They're not going to make a dog the first day. Some do. There are some. I've had some. I have one out there that I guarantee you at 4 months old, 5 months old will go out there and do the thing, but it don't mean that it's ready to.
There you go. No, that's great, because like I said, there's so many times that, and it's happened to you, it's happened to me, it's anybody that's been running dogs, whether it's casting dogs or whether it's a catch dog or whatever, there's certain times that you have a dog that is just not wanting to do anything. It's having one of those days, one of those moments. It's either acting overly shy or skittish, or it's just shutting down on you. You cannot end it on a negative note. Like you said, you can, if the dog doesn't want to cast, put him back in the box, let him sit there a little while. Before you go home, before you crank that truck up, get him back out, let it sit down. Like you said, walk it through some basic obedience if that's what it is. Pet him up, let him know, hey, you're good, put him back in the box, let's go to the house. I'm not saying you got to be overly excited about it, but don't let that be the last thing that it remembers and then sits in the kennel for a couple more weeks. And you're thinking, well, it's going to mature like that. Yeah, it can, but
it's going to ferment.
Yeah, it's going to sit there and think. I mean, it's just like sending your kid to his room after he's done got in trouble. Say, go in there and think about what you done. He's not going to think about what he done. He's going to think about what you done, because that's the last thing on his mind.
100%. And you can't. And what I've learned, if a dog don't want to cast, and not all my dogs will cast. I ain't gonna lie to you. And some dogs aren't cast dogs, but But if you want a dog to be a cast dog, if you think it will cast, it has that genetics or whatever, leave it in that box when you catch a pig. Let it hear everything going on. If you pull up real close to that pig within a couple hundred yards, let it hear all the commotion, but don't ever let it out. And the FOMO, I guess, fear of missing out, is going to eat at that dog. And then you put that dog straight in the kennel, the next time you bring it out, it's going to be a different dog. If it has it.
Yep.
If it has it, then it's going to be a different dog.
And some dogs just don't have it. That's a reality.
Yeah, 100%.
So
you don't have to soft call, hard call, however you call, you don't have to. It's a numbers game. It's like going to the bar. You're not going to get every pretty chick, but you're going to get some of them, and some of them you still have to say goodbye to, honestly.
That's right. If not, then, you'll be like me and Uncle Pat. It'll be rough on you.
Yes, sir. I had one question for y'all before we got off here. So there's one thing that bothers me about some of the hawk hunters I've been with and been around, is that like their dog passes in the woods, or if they gotta, do what they gotta do out in the woods, they leave their dog there. Mm-mm. And I had some old boys with me, and I carried my stack hound out, and I carried a few dogs out. And I've stopped hunting with dudes over this. They could be great dudes. They could do whatever, but I don't know. To me, it's that dog's gonna go home. If he dies on my shoulder, if he's already dead when I put him on my shoulders, he's gonna go home. And that's just me. I just wanted to know y'all's take on that.
I would agree.
Yeah. Personally,
with the ultra rare exception of we're real far away from home and it's real hot.
It has to be something.
Spoilage issue.
We've never dealt with that.
Yeah, but I've never been in that instance.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter what the scenario is. We have never had to leave one.
No, we've never left one.
But I'm sure, like you said, there could be scenarios like Nate, exactly what Nate was just saying. And I wasn't trying to overtalk him or none of that, but I was just like, we haven't had to do it.
No.
If we did, there would be some kind of severe reason why. I don't know. Maybe it's because we raise all our dogs. Like, very seldom are we going to get a grown dog from somebody else. And even at that rate, if the dog don't make it, I'm not going to, even if I had to cull a dog, I would never do it right there. Just walk off and be like, okay, whatever. I know people that have, and I don't, but that's not going to happen with us. It's not going to happen around me. It might happen one time, but it won't ever happen the second time. If something happens to your dog while we're hunting, that dog deserves a little bit more than, even if it just, if you're going to cull the dog, then that's your business. You do that shit at home. You don't do that out on the hunt. But if it's from an injury, that dog deserves more than that. I think. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I agree. I think the dog deserves the respect.
Yeah, if he went in there and he got hurt bad enough that you need to have enough respect for him doing what you asked him to do.
Yeah, because this old boy was with me. He was like, "Man, you gonna carry that 100-some pound dog out?" I said, I don't give a shit about a hog right now. I said, one thing for sure, two things for certain, this motherfucker is going home.
Yeah.
And that's just how I am. I ain't going to leave nobody behind, especially if he died doing something I asked him to do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, buddy, for real. I've never, like I said, I've been with a couple guys who, they've been pretty harsh on some stuff, and that's them. That's their business. We don't hunt together, and we won't hunt together. That's their business. Like I said, it ain't gonna be mine. It ain't gonna happen with us.
No,
I can't deal with that shit.
On a good note, y'all gonna come out to? We gonna go to that Bay Inn for the Woods Dogs, and y'all come hunt in Texas.
Yes.
All right, I'll leave my shit eaters at home. We'll catch some hogs for your dog.
Well, we'll bring them. I ain't gonna mean we're gonna catch no damn hog. We'll catch fucking armadillos, possums, and some shit like that. But we'll turn them loose.
We'll see what happens.
So we'll turn.
My main dog caught a skunk the other day and bait up 200-pounder, so I can't say too much.
Yeah, it happens. We'll like I said, we'll definitely turn it loose. I think we're going to come out the week before the bay, so it'll be. I'll look and get all the dates, and we'll get with you. And like I said, we'll swing by and make a hunt or two. And then we'll ease up there to Rusty's, or we can do it after. Either way, whatever works out best for you and whatever you can accommodate there.
It sure sounds good. Y'all get to meet the man, the Michelangelo little camera.
That's it. That's who I'm excited to meet him. I want to see these dogs. We'll bring his damn catch dog for sure if it's like that. I love a good catch dog, man. Love it.
Oh yeah, it don't need no leash. It don't need heat. It's just words with him, so we'll bring that one for sure. And then if when this dogo has some puppies, if y'all want one, shit, y'all can have one. Just let me know if it's worth the shit or not.
Okay. We'll look and see if we got some damn room. Nathan has decided to have a couple litters bred up on the yard already. We just had a litter. We got 2 litters actually on the ground,
yeah.
and then we got one that I'm hoping she took. It's going to be some rough cur dogs. I say that. The mama.
I think we'll get just good general cur dogs out of both these litters. I think
both the gyps are some of those yellow dogs I got from Russell Holiday.
Oh yeah, I'm about to get some from him when he does that breeding to that dog he retired and that one dog he still uses.
Yeah. Well, these 2 gyps come from him, and then I bred one of them over one of our competition dogs. He's just got all the rights. They got the right genetics. And, we don't run them in the woods a bunch or nothing, but it's only because of their value doing other stuff. So
that's why I bred my dogo to my girl, because she can find them. So I was like, if she can find them, if he can find them, then their pups should find them.
Hell yeah. Nothing wrong with that. So Yeah, man, we'll get with you and we'll get it set up. We'll swing by there and hunt. So you guys are definitely coming up to the bay though, right? To the Woods
Yes,
Dog
sir.
deal? Okay. Yeah, we'll try to round up a pretty good crowd and come up and so that way Rusty can get this event kicked off and make it a good success.
Well, we'll have at least 4 or 5 entries from me under Cameron or my girlfriend, and then my buddy's going to go with his dog. So we'll have a few entries from this side for sure.
Hell yeah.
That's good.
That'll
That's
work,
good.
man. Well, brother, we sure appreciate you jumping on here and talking with us and taking your time out of your life to do this. And we look forward to actually coming out and hanging out some and meeting you guys. And you just keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, man, taking little brother and producing him the way that you're doing in a positive way, man, that's what we all need to do. That's what we all need to do.
Sure.
That's a role model right there, Caden. That's what it is. And I mean, I look up to you for that, buddy.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, my man. Well, y'all be good, and we will see you sometime soon.
See you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, y'all. There we go. Good guy.
For sure.
Good guy. I like the way he's, his outlook on everything. I tried to ask him a few questions in different scenarios there, just to kind of see what, just to see what he would say on it. And that's the kind of answers you need on all of it. So, I mean, the world's going in the right way. If we can keep young guys like that for your generation, and y'all can
feel
keep
better about it.
Yeah, I do. Every time, like it's getting better. There's some of them I'm like, fuck.
Oh yeah.
But then again, there's a lot of my age. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty good there. I had a good time.
For sure.
We appreciate y'all listening to us.
As always.
Keep in mind, we're going to continue on doing the Ask Uncle Pat stuff. Y'all make sure to send in your questions or just a topic if y'all want to talk about it. You can call in. You can prearrange a call with Nate and we can set it up, or you can contact Pat Louie and contact myself and contact Ryan Rankin, and we'll all hook it up. We'll make sure it happens.
For sure.
And so y'all make sure to check out Tagging Outdoors with Caden and Cameron on Instagram. They catch some nice hogs. Them boys put in a lot of work too. So
For sure.
all right, till the next time, we out. We'll see y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned for our new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. For questions, advertising, or just to chat, email DixieDoggers01@gmail.com.